House Majority Leader Steve Scalise weighed in on the issue of abortion and said something that we hear far too often in pro-life circles about abortion and about the pro-choice stance on abortion. So instead of explaining this to you, let me just show you this statement from the recount.
If a baby's born alive outside the womb, in some states they actually are allowing that baby to be killed and calling it abortion. It's murder, and yet it's legal in some states. Even people that identify as pro-choice think that that's disgusting and immoral and shouldn't be allowed in America, and yet it is.
So what is he saying there? That born babies are being aborted. Now, as the recount noted, repeating the same lie over and over again doesn't make it true. And here is an attached video they put showing you another instance where he made this claim.
If a baby's born alive outside the womb, now we're talking after the baby has come out of the womb alive, in some states they're killing that baby and calling it abortion. That's murder. And yet it's happening in some states. And so this bill would just protect the lives of those who are born outside the womb.
So why say that? Why say that babies are being killed and people are calling that abortion? Well, it's because as we've seen in the United States of America, the pro-choice stance has become more popular as time has gone by. And so when your stance becomes less and less popular and seen as more radical, being the hardcore pro-life stance, you have to cast the other side as pushing for something that they're not. Find me evidence of instances of abortions happening to born children. Find me those instances and then we'll talk. But it's true that because more and more in America is getting on the side of the pro-choice stance, understanding that women do have the right to make that decision, to decide if they should continue being pregnant, that the Republican Party has to get a different playbook. And instead of just changing the policy stance they have, they're likely going to dishonestly portray what's being fought for on the other side, and thus, hopefully, in their minds, win over more supporters who don't support the afterbirth abortions. Obviously, pro-choice people aren't saying once you're born you can be aborted. Yeah, that's called murder. There's a unified sense of agreement on that one, Steve Scalise. And we see this too with the narratives that are run in certain circles about late-term abortion, saying that, you know, we have this epidemic in America where women in the 9th month of their pregnancy are going, never mind, and getting an abortion. Well, we understand that's just not the case. When doctors who perform these procedures, abortions generally, are asked, they say, okay, no, that's not, as someone who does, assist in the abortion process, I wouldn't have someone come in my office who wants to get an abortion for no reason in the 9th month of pregnancy. That would not go forward. Because the real story they'd have to tell, to be honest, is the only time those abortions happen really late in a pregnancy is because there's an absolute necessity, life of the mother situations like that. And so to make the other side seem less reasonable as they get more and more popular, you have to dishonestly portray what they're fighting for and dishonestly portray the reality about what's actually happening. And the best example of that is this story we hear. Abortions are happening to grown-up children, apparently.